Hello, my wonderful witches, Owlvine here. Today I'm going to be chatting to you about what to do if you fall off the witch wagon. Now, this is something that I've certainly experienced myself, and this is something that I have worked with a lot of other people over the years who have experienced it too. It can be quite distressing when we have certain goals for ourselves or when we have this certain vision of what we want our spirituality to be, but it's going in a different direction. There's some stuff going on, we're not as into it as we'd like to be, or it could be the case that our practice isn't serving us as well as we need it to. We're not quite feeling it. Things are maybe a little boring, a little dry, a little droll. So today I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks that I have learnt from my own experience and from others of what you can do to get back into your practice and get it feeling really delicious to you again. The first and most important tip that I have for you is to let it be. Give yourself time and grace. If you are going through a stage where your practice isn't where you want it to be, there might be a lot of other stuff going on in your life. And this is just a fact, right? We all have the same 24 hours in a day that we need to fit everything in life into. So sometimes there are things that are just going to be taking more of your attention than you would like. You would like to maybe bring that attention elsewhere into your life, but it's just not possible. This can be a time thing. This can be an energy thing. It's just a fact that sometimes in life there are demands upon us and areas that we have to pour more of our attention into. So if this is something that you're going through right now, give yourself grace. It's really not helpful when we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on that we're berating ourselves, because then we've got the things that we must be doing and focusing on, and at the same time we're giving ourselves hell on the other side. This just creates a big soup of unhappiness, right? Because it doesn't actually help to inspire you into the direction of your craft. Instead, it's just creating a whole lot of negative feelings. So my first number one tip is, if you're in this stage where your practice isn't where you want it to be, allow it to be what it is. Give yourself grace, give yourself time and space. Sometimes there are just things we need to go through. Now, it could be that there aren't any external factors that are actually playing into this. It could be all internal, but that is a normal part of the process as well. So there are times when we are growing and we are doing and we are expressing, and there are other times when we're consolidating, or when we're doing shadow work, or when things are stirring beneath the surface, readying themselves to come up, or are in that process of coming up. So you could be in that stage as well. Know that this is super normal. Everyone goes through the stage where they're not where they want to be with their witchery. It's okay. Give yourself the grace and time if that is what you need where you're at right now. My second tip is to find out the why. Why is it that your practice isn't where you want it to be right now? Is it a time thing? Is it an energy thing? Is it about privacy? Do you not have the discipline right now? Is it not feeling very exciting? Are you bored? What is the reason behind why your practice isn't where you want it to be? Now, this isn't necessarily a necessary step. However, this is something that I find quite helpful, and there's different types of personalities that will find this step helpful. Going in and finding out the why. What is the real reason behind my practice being what it is right now and not what I want it to be? It can be really helpful to use journaling as a tool for this. This again will depend on your kind of personality. It might be helpful for you to speak to people about it. So talking to a trusted friend or something like that. Some people need to externally process. Something that I have found helpful when I need to externally process, but I don't have anyone in particular that I can talk to about something. This might sound super weird, I know. But what I will actually do is I will turn on my camera and I will talk to my camera. Now, this can be just a weird experience in and of itself. However, it might be something that some of you who have some more extroverted traits actually find helpful. For myself, when I do this, I literally will film me talking or expressing or just word vomiting, whatever it is I need to say, and then I just delete it and that's it. It's something that you can keep, you can watch it back perhaps. tips if that is something that might be helpful to you, but this could be something that is useful. However, the typical kind of one I would say is journaling, and this is something that has helped me a lot because it just allows you to get all of that stuff out, and over time you can see patterns. So I really like journaling to identify patterns, to see what are the things that are coming out consistently. It's really helpful to find deeper roots behind why things are going on in your life. But any other way of exploration, I would love to hear your tips down below. When you are going through a personal exploration of self, how do you do that? Do you journal? Do you talk to friends? I would love to hear your tips and tricks down below. My next tip is to set SMART goals. These are goals which are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. I'm going to leave some resources down below if you want to go and check out all of that. But the way that I really approach this is to just set small goals. What one little thing can I head towards this week in my practice? What little things can I actually achieve? And what I find is really helpful is setting goals that are so small that you can achieve them on your worst days. On the days where things are going crazy, there's too much on, the kids, the job, the husband, the whatever, right? On those days, these little goals can still be achieved. And what I find really helpful about this is that it actually encourages you to do more. So first of all, it encourages you just to do a little something. But over time, as you achieve those goals, as you actually reach the tiny little goals, that gives you a lot of confidence and a lot of motivation to actually do more in that direction, because all of a sudden it feels good and the inspiration is flowing. Make sure that when you actually achieve your goals, when you actually follow through with the plans that you have made, reward yourself, make it feel really good. And this can be as simple as just affirming yourself and saying, oh my gosh, you're so awesome. This is so cool. Look at me achieving my goals. Or it could be as big as buying yourself something or going out somewhere or whatever it might be. But it doesn't have to cost any money. That's important. The important thing is that you are just injecting a lot of good feeling around the fact that you are achieving your small goals. That is amazing. Some things that have helped me in this regard are having a habit tracker. This is a really, really big one. A habit tracker is something that records your habits over time. So I really began using a habit tracker probably 5 or 6 years ago when I was wanting to add more meditation into my practice. I knew this was something I really needed to do, but it just felt so big and overwhelming. I was like, oh, I don't know. So the way that I started with that is, first of all, I made the goal tiny, all right? 2-minute meditation. That's it, 2 minutes. And then what I did is I recorded in my habit tracker every time I actually did the meditation. Now, the way that I use habit trackers is not to be militant over myself. It's not to demand perfection for myself. It's more to be curious. It's more to just see how often I'm doing something and to notice any benefits that I'm getting from that. This is very specifically in regards to meditation. So I would notice the months that I was doing more meditation, I was starting to feel a lot better. So that was feeding into my inspiration for doing that more as well. But for me, I find habit tracking, coloring in that little square every day, that's how I do it, is a reward in and of itself. It's like a ticker. Oh, yay, you know, someone patting me on the back. So I find that's a good reward system for myself. You need to find what works for you, but habit tracking can be a really good one, especially if you've got a goal that you want to bring in on a consistent basis. Again, I really want to encourage you not to be militant about this, not to get angry with yourself if you miss a day. I know there are some type A personalities out there that just like can't handle a blank square, but give yourself grace. Let's go back to that first tip. Give yourself grace in all of this. When you are graceful and kind to yourself, you will probably find yourself being a little bit more productive, doing a little bit more of the things that it is that you want to do, and just generally being happier. The other thing that can be really helpful is having some kind of accountability partner. So this could be a friend, this could be someone online, this could be a mentor, a coach, something like that. Someone who you share your goals with, who helps keep you on track, who checks in with you and says, hey, have you done that thing you said you were going to do yet? Those kinds of things. It can be really, really helpful to have witchy friends and people like that that you can keep accountable with. Sometimes we are better at doing things for other people than we are for ourselves. So even if it's like our own goal and our thing with our own life, if we know that our friend's going to get on our case or like be disappointed in us or something, sometimes that can be just that little kick up the bum that we need to actually get the thing done. So have a think and consider whether an accountability partner would be useful for you. I was having a little think about this, and if you don't have someone in your life that you feel could fit this mold, perhaps joining a Facebook group with people who have similar interests would be useful. There are a lot of witchy groups out there. Some of them I've heard can be a little toxic, but some of them are wonderful as well. So have a look around, find those people. If you need that kind of thing in your life, then keep on searching until the right person comes. The other thing is, although this will take a little bit of practice, a little bit of action, you can actually cast a spell to bring that kind of person into your life as well, to bring in a good friend or to bring in a mentor or a coach or whatever kind of relationship you need in that way. You can absolutely use spell work to manifest that kind of person into your life as well. The fourth tip I have for you is to release expectations. We often put a lot of pressure on ourselves to reach a certain standard, to meet a vision of what witch is, right? We have these unrealistic expectations, many of us, and a lot of the time we don't even realize it until we start to unravel these things. Now, something that we tend to do as people is we set goals, or we want to go after things because of the way we think they are going to make us feel. We want a new car or an amazing job or an incredible lover or whatever it is based on what we think those things are going to give us. But a little shortcut in manifestation is to realize what we are always going after is a feeling that something is giving us. So if we can focus instead on going in the direction of getting that feeling of safety, security, of significance, of excitement, of wonder, of whatever it might be, if we can focus on that instead of what we think is going to get us that feeling, then the universe can move in mysterious, wonderful ways and get us to that feeling much, much quicker. So instead of focusing on all of the things that you want to be doing in your craft or all of the things that a witch should be doing, instead focus on what you want your craft to make you feel. Cut out all of that other nonsense, all of that other stuff, and focus purely on that. And you will start to notice that you take actions which actually bring you to that feeling. And the amazing thing with that is, like we spoke about with the manifestation, often you get there so much more quickly than you think. Often that feeling is right around the corner. And the amazing thing is, when you get into alignment with that feeling, then often the external follows. So those other things start to come in, and maybe and usually not what you think. It's usually something a bit different, but better than anything that you could expect or dream of for yourself. So this is a little tip to release those expectations, find out the feeling that you want to have in your practice and focus on that. Do things or set those goals that align with that. And this is absolutely a process and something that you go through over time, trying things on, discarding things as you go to reach that space of your own authentic witchery. My fifth tip for getting back on the witchy bandwagon again is to allow it to be a process. Be patient with yourself as things unfold. I've given you some other tips here today which are a little bit more actionable. This one is to just give yourself the space to allow the process to unfold. These things take time, and in many cases our practice is not a linear thing which is already set out. It's not something where we just follow the steps. This is very much an artistic, creative, very personal expression of spirituality in many cases, to those of you who I'm speaking to. In many cases, this is what it is, and it takes time to unravel. So instead of wanting to go from zero to hero, give yourself the time to explore and to allow your process to unfold. Whether you are in a shadow stage right now, whether you have a lot of external things going on, whether things are much more more quiet beneath the surface. Allow the process to unfold. The other thing is to be curious about it as well. Try different things. Keep on going until you find what works for you, because not everything will, and not all tips and things that people say helped them will help you, of course. So going through that process, allowing it to unfold, continuing to be curious and find different things from different people to find what works for you. And just one little thing on this whole thing being a process, just in case any of you are in the thick of it, I want to give you a little bit of encouragement. I've experienced this myself before, as I mentioned, and for me it lasted about a year. So there was about a year-long period where I wasn't feeling connected. I was feeling very disjointed for my practice and like, I don't know where this is going. I don't know who I am. I don't know if I like the word witch anymore, like all the things, right? And it just took a length of time, and I sat with it that whole time. It was incredibly uncomfortable, which is why we often like to make it stop as quickly as possible, because it is uncomfortable. But the thing that I really want to let you know is that when we are in these stages of uncomfortability, when things are getting churned up within us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it might be, there is a lot of gold that can come from that. That year-long period was absolutely horrible. The feeling that I had that whole year was just awful. I hated it. However, it actually brought me so much knowing, so much treasure, so much alignment eventually in the end, because I was able to discard things, and just the process of mulling things over can really bring a lot of personal insight. So I want to give you that encouragement to just be where you're at. Sit in the uncomfortability. It may be that this is where you need to be right now. If not, I've given you some other tips that will hopefully help you move along that process as well. But really, again, it kind of goes back to that start one, the grace. Be graceful, be patient, be curious, be open, and know that what you're going through is totally normal and something that we all absolutely go through. Now, before I let you go, I've got a couple of other little tips and resources that I wanted to share with you for getting back on that witchy bandwagon. You might like to try these things. These might help to really ignite your magic and inspire you in your witchery. The first one is to go back to basics. Sometimes we get so muddled up in our head with all of the resources and amazing witchy inspiration that we're taking in, and we're just like feeling quite overwhelmed with all of the possibilities. So if this is you, I definitely recommend getting back to basics. Strip it all away. You can start with the things that first interested you in your practice, or just go to things that you feel are very elementary in terms of witchery. Now, a book that I highly recommend for getting this kind of inspiration and really taking you through those basics again, but in a new, beautiful way, is Rebel Witch by AnnMaddox. Most of you, if not all of you, I'm sure know that Kellyanne has a fabulous YouTube channel, so I definitely recommend that you check her out. But this is the book that I wish that I had at the beginning of my practice. I really do. And it's definitely one that I can see myself diving into if I ever need that refresh in my practice. What's so awesome about this book is she goes through so many different aspects of witchery. There's absolutely beginner information in here as well if you are new to witchery. It's very accessible for those who are like brand spanking new, but also really inspiring for anyone who has been on the path for a decent length of time as well. And again, what I love about this is there are a lot of creative ideas in this book. There are things in this book which I've certainly heard Kellyanne speak about on her channel, but which I've not seen written down in any other witchy books before. So this is definitely one. If you are feeling like you want that back to basics reignition, then definitely Rebel Witch is the way to go. My next tip, which is very closely related, is to try something new. So it's related but opposite end of the coin, I guess. So it can be that your practice is feeling a little drab, maybe a little boring. So you need an injection of something new. There are so many topics and traditions and areas of study that you could go down when it comes to witchery. So a way to perhaps break this down and make this accessible for you is to write down all of the things that you are interested in, to maybe do a little bit of a trawl around the internet, listen to what people are talking about, write down any unusual creative ideas that you hear, and then have a look at that list. Choose one and do it. It may be that you just need a little bit of something new in your craft. It might be that you're following routine, your discipline's on point, but you really just need that something different. There is so much out there, you guys. There is so much out there when it comes to magic and different areas that you can explore, and that may just be the thing that reignites your witchery. Another thing that can be really helpful is using a spell a day book or an almanac, something like that, a spell almanac. I know Llewellyn has them. I've never gotten the Llewellyn ones because they are specifically for the Northern Hemisphere, but I've heard from so many witches that they're amazing. The one that I have that I really love is Daily Magic by Judica Isles. So I have shared this one with you guys in my last video as well, but it's just a little bit of magical inspiration every single day. And I find with these kinds of books for myself, and the way that it seems a lot of other people feel as well, there is a lot in these books which doesn't really relate to your craft. You'll look at things and be like, but there's plenty of inspiration in there as well. So it's not like you need to find that every single day's entry has to be something that applies to you, but certainly if you're getting a book that has 365 spells, meditations, whatever, right? There are a lot of different books out there. You are going to find a few things in there that you can get along with, that you can try. They're going to be simple enough as well, usually, if they're set out in a daily format, that they are small enough that you can bring that into your practice easily. Generally speaking, they're not going to be these huge rituals and things like that, although those are certainly something that you can play with and bring into your practice as well, and that may really be the thing that works for you too. But they're often very simple, which is something that is going to work for most people who are trying to bring in more to get that magic flowing. The last book I'm going to recommend is by Rust of Nail and Prick of Thorn. I did speak about this more extensively in my last video as well, but this is a really terrific book for witches who know their stuff, who just need some inspiration to get it done. So if this is you, if you are feeling in this category and you just need like a magical love note, then this is the one for you. It's got some amazing quotes in there. It's got some great little tips, and it will help you get your practice humming along in no time, I'm sure. The last resource I want to share with you is the Spellcasting Club. So I am actually a magical teacher at the Spellcasting Club. I've been working with this amazing company for 7 years now, I think almost 8. It's been a minute, which is incredible. So we are a monthly subscription. So with that subscription, you get newsletters, tutorials, videos, and PDFs on an array of magical topics. We explore the elements, we explore graveyard magic, we explore working with animals, we explore mythology, different deities. There's just all kinds of magical goodness in the Spellcasting Club. And the other thing it comes along with is an invitation to the Secret Spellcasting Club Facebook group. Now, this is a group that only people who are part of our membership can access or even find. This is because we want it to be absolutely private. We have a lot of people within our group that cannot share their witchery with their loved ones or their wider circles, so we make sure that that is locked down so that there is total privacy there. And it's actually a really incredible group. So I know from my own experiences, but also hearing from so many of our members, it is such a positive, uplifting, encouraging space. And this is something that can be quite rare on the internet, if you haven't noticed. So it's a space that's really filled with witches from all walks of life and from all experience levels as well, from literally brand new through to adept and people who've been practicing for 20 plus years. And what's so awesome is that people ask questions in there or bring up different discussions, and we have people again from all these different experience levels putting in their 2 cents, but it's always a positive space. It's a really, really amazing space to spend time in, and it's filled with loads of inspiration as well. So if you are feeling like you need a little bit more hands-on or intensive inspiration, motivation, or even in getting those ideas flowing, it may be that the Spellcasting Club is something that is going to really work for you. If you would like to check it out, you can click the link down below. This is my affiliate link as well. So if you do end up signing up, then I get a small commission every single month that you are a member as well. We have 2 different levels. We have the initiate level and we have the adept level. The initiate level has 1 newsletter, one tutorial PDF and video, and one spell video every single month, along with free access to all of our live spells, which we have 1 or 2 a month. This is a group ritual that is led by one of our amazing magical teachers, and we actually cast magic together. We also have Witchy Wednesdays every single week, which is where me or one of the other teachers is live in the Facebook group. We usually pull cards, or we do some kind of magical discussion or spell or whatever it might be that is inspiring us that week. Now for our adepts, they get all of that, but on top of that, they get also an extra newsletter, an extra tutorial PDF and video, and an extra spell video every single month as well. So there is so much magical goodness that you can find within the Spellcasting Club. If this is something that you're interested in checking out, I have popped the link down below for you. There you have it, my beautiful friends. I hope that you have found something within this video that is useful to you, that you can bring into your own practice, that you can use to help get you back on that witchy bandwagon. I would also absolutely love to hear from all of you witches. What are your tips and tricks? What have you used when you've gone through this process of falling off the wagon and getting back onto it? What's worked for you? What resources can you recommend? I absolutely love it when you guys add in your 2 cents as well, because we are all a community here. We all have such a vast array of knowledge. So please, if you are open to sharing that with other people in the comments, please do, because it's so helpful when someone comes to a video about a topic that is something that they've really been grappling with or thinking about. Often those people will go down into the comments to see what other tips, tricks, and insights that they can gain from that. So if that's something you want to share as well, please do. That would be incredible. I'm wishing you all so much love, many, many blessings, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.